Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. It is Sunday morning here where I am, so I hope you're having a good weekend. And if it's not Sunday where you are, whatever day it is, I hope you're having a good weekend there. Okay, let me get myself all set up. I'm going to do a reading for the week. Just kind of see what does the weather look like for all of us this week. All right. So just quick short readings. If anybody wants to time stamp it, that would be great. If not, that's okay. You know, if you guys really want to find it, you'll find it. All right, listen, I sure appreciate each and every one of you being a part of my channel. I really do. If you appreciate what I do here, help me out. Hit that like button right there. Wink. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Really makes a difference to my channel. Now, if you would like me to pull a card for you at the end of this reading, I am happy to do so. Just put your question in the chat, and when I'm done with all of the zodiac signs, I will turn my attention to all of you guys in the chat. And yeah, we'll just kind of get to know each other, and I'll read cards for you guys. All right, that's one of my most favorite things to do. All right, so let's see what's going on for all of us. Grateful, thankful for the messages. For every single one of us out there, the collective, what's going to go on for the next 7 to 10 days? Well, let's just do 7 days. 7 days for the next week. What's the weather like for all of us? All right, first card will be the overall energy for the sign. All right, let's see, what does it look like for my Aries? We have the Lovers card coming in reversed. There could be a disconnect when it comes to partnership. So if you have to work with people, you know, or if you're in a partnership with someone, this could even be a love relationship. It's a partnership, all right? I'm just feeling like there could be a disconnect between you and that person this week. Strength card, all right, that's coming in to clarify this Lovers reversed. Sometimes we have to pick our battles. Sometimes we have to compromise. Sometimes, you know, we need to, you know, see the other person's perspective. But with the strength card coming in reverse, I'm also feeling as if, you know, maybe some of you feel as if you are not heard. You know, because I get this sense that, you know, there is just something that does not hold you guys together. You know, it's like you're not on that same page. And intuitively, I think you know what that might be. So yeah, you know, partnerships could be tough this week for all of my Aries clan. Welcome in, Sam. Welcome in. Welcome in, John. All right, let's see what else is going on for my Taurus. Moving on to my Taurus. All right, Taurus, we're starting out the week with the Queen of Cups coming in reversed. So the energy this week with that Queen of Cups is emotionally you could be a little bit off. You know, so if you're a little off, you know, that's one of those things that, you know, sometimes we have those weeks. And I feel like this could be one of these weeks, you know, you would be best, you know, to just kind of be on your own. You know, because when we have the Three of Pentacles coming in, it's not like you want to be around people, you know. So, yeah, those are one of those things. Hold on a second. I got to deal with some of these people in the chat because, you know, if you're not nice, you can't stay. You know, it's just the way it's going to be. All right. All right, so let's see, Taurus. Yeah, you know, so I feel as if, you know, the week starts out a little bit rough, but by the end of the week, I feel like you do pull out. You know, because here with this King of Pentacles coming in, it's like you get your cake and eat it too. So at the end of the week, I think you'll start to feel better. If you are having some issues between you and your partner, because, you know, they may not just get you this week. I feel like even that could be a disconnect, you know, just like with Aries. So just, you know, just be aware of that. Sam, I'm not looking for a moderator now. I want somebody who I know to be a moderator, all right? So I appreciate you tuning in, but I'm just going to hold off for right now. All right? All right, let's see. Moving on to my Gemini. What does your week look like? So we start out your week with the Moon card, all right? So Gemini, with the Moon card coming in like this, I feel as if, you know, you're going to be trying to be a little quiet, all right? This isn't an extroverted energy. I feel like it's one of those where you have a lot of deep thoughts and feelings that could be coming in, you know? So I'm feeling like, you know, you start out the week, you know, maybe even feeling a little overwhelmed, you know, because I'm looking at this jaguar here in the pond. He's really big, and I'm just wondering if something that's going on with you is much bigger than it really needs to be. We do have the Ace of Swords coming in reversed and the Page of Pentacles. You might be on the brink of something brand new or having to make a decision about going in another direction because the Page of Pentacles, he's flipping a coin here, thinking, maybe I should take another road. Maybe I should go down another road. So those might be some feelings of you wanting to make some big changes, especially when it comes to your work, could surface this week. All right, Gemini, so that's what I've got for you. All right, Cancer, we've got the Justice card coming in with the Eight of Wands alongside the Star. So if you are involved in a legal battle or a legal situation, Cancer, we've got you coming in. I feel like there's going to be a lot of arguing. These two cats are going back and forth at it. And then I feel like it goes silent. I think everybody has what they say, and then, there's nothing. So you could be involved in some kind of an argument, that totally shuts everybody down. And then we have the Star card. And I feel like this is one of those weeks. Whatever is said is said. Leave well enough alone is what I'm feeling. And, maybe this isn't the week to kind of push back and to just let things just sit, because there's no point in trying to make something, a different outcome right now, because the Star card doesn't promise that this is going to turn out very well. All right, so that's what I've got for some of my Cancers. Now, Leo, what's going on, Leo? We got the Nine of Pentacles coming in reverse. We got the Knight of Cups. And we have the Knight of Wands coming in. So, Leo, I mean, I feel like you're feeling a little unsteady about yourself, all right? This is insecurity here. And we have the Nine of Pentacles. Maybe, money, finances could be a little bit stressed. Maybe you're worried about some of the things you have. Maybe you don't like some of the things you have because they're old. A lot of insecurity is what I'm feeling. But I do feel as if there is somebody around you who is very interested in you. We have the Knight of Cups coming in. And actually I see two people. So if you are single, Leo, don't be surprised. I think there's people that really have their eye on you. One, I think, keeps a distance from you. Maybe they wonder whether or not, you are available. Yeah, if you know who this is and you are interested, make yourself known, because I feel like they will really reciprocate. So nice week for you, Leo. All right, let's see what's going on for my Virgos. Virgo, Three of Swords is how we start your week out. So a week of healing for my Virgos. And I think, in doing so, I think you're going to speak up. You're going to say your mind. You're going to speak your piece. Because I think that's how you are going to heal. If you have been holding back and you've been really, really hurt and you haven't been able to really kind of, know how to deal with it, I feel as if some of you say something, that makes you feel better, because sometimes, the next time I see them, I'm going to give them a piece of my mind. It's that kind of an energy, and it just makes you feel good to finally had said something like that. We do have the Fool card coming in reverse. Don't start anything new without really looking at it, because when we have the Fool card, you don't want to start anything that you may not be able to finish, all right? So just keep that in mind, all right, Virgo. All right, Libra, we've got you coming out with the Queen of Swords reverse to the Hanged Man. There could be somebody, this could be you, a little angry, not knowing how to handle a situation, because we do have you sitting here in this Hanged Man energy. So something may have disappointed you. Something may not have gone the way you wanted it to. Maybe somebody lied to you. I just feel as if whatever it is, it really got to you. And I think now you have to kind of sit and process it. Because it's one of these things. You may run into this person. I feel like it's a person. You may run into them, at some social event, and you want to feel good about what it is when you see them. Yeah, I think you're in a place right now. You're weighing all your options, trying to see how best to react or respond in a situation. But by the end of the week, though, I see something really, really good for you, Libra. I mean, look, you're having a good time celebrating. Definitely enjoying the company of other people, which on a social factor, I think, Libra, you really enjoy that. All right, so yeah, that's what I've got for you, Libra. Moving on to my Scorpios, we've got the Knight of Pentacles coming in reverse. Okay, some of us do not want to work. Some of us may be out of work. When we have the Knight of Pentacles, this is, not wanting to, have to do the grunt work, because the Knight of Pentacles has to do all of those things that we don't want to do in order to succeed. It's part of the process. So when it comes to going to work, I feel like a lot of you Scorpios are just going to feel like, I don't want to do this. And, you're going to go through that whole thing, but there's nothing else to do, so I've got no choice. And if you need to look for a job, I would get yourself out there, because if you don't get out there and look, you're not going to find one. I mean, really, I just feel as if, this lack of motivation this week with you, Scorpio. And if you can, take a week off, that's great, because, if that's what you need. But I do feel as if you've got to snap out of it, because we do have the devil coming in reversed at the final outcome. And I feel like, this isn't good for you. And I think you need to, get out there and see what your options are. And you'll just feel better, all right? So listen, you'll feel better if you're doing something. All right, so let's move on to my Sagittarius. Grateful, thankful for all of my Sagittarians. We have the Page of Wands coming in reversed to the Death card reversed. All right, so I feel as if, you are really thinking about your future here, Sag. Because when we have the Page of Wands, this is usually taking a road, going, doing something, the start of something that you would really, really love. But I feel like, you can't do it until something is dealt with, all right? So the need for you to tie up loose ends comes up this week. Because if you want to do anything and make any moves for your future, you're going to have to deal with the situation, because you can't do anything until you start. So tying up loose ends will really be at the forefront of Sagittarians week, because you got to do what you got to do, right, Sag? All right, Capricorn, we've got you coming in as the Sun card reversed to the Ten of Swords to the Two of Pentacles. So, you're not doing as good as everybody thinks you are. I think you are a very, very stoic sign. You're somebody that, the Capricorns, they're the responsible ones, they're the workhorses, they'll work into the wee hours of the night, all of that, but you can't, they're hard to read emotionally. And I think, this week is no different. I think there is a situation you are dealing with that needs to come to an end. And it makes you really sad, but you don't want people to know what it is, and here we have the Two of Pentacles. You knowing that you need to make a decision to bring something to an end, especially if you're not happy, all right? And what makes it hard is that if, it's one of those things, it's one of those shockers of like, I had no idea you were so miserable. I had no idea you were so unhappy. I had no idea. But you were. I mean, you've been feeling really, really bad here. Ten of Swords coming in. So yeah, the Two of Pentacles says, I've got to figure out what I'm going to do, because I can't keep doing this anymore. I'm just not happy. And Ten of Swords, whenever the Ten of Swords comes to an end, it brings with it a brand new beginning. And I think you realize that, whatever it is that is keeping you so unhappy that you don't want people to know about needs to come to an end. All right, Aquarius, what do we got for you? We have the Empress coming out. So my Aquas are pregnant. There could be pregnancy. So if you are pregnant, congratulations. If you don't want to get pregnant, then do what you need to do to not make that happen. We do have the Two of Wands. And, some of you may be on the fence about whether or not you might want to have a kid. This might be a conversation that is coming up between you and your person. I think, if you are going to have one, you don't want it to be, something out of nowhere. I think you want to plan for it. But I just feel as if, there are some decisions you are making, about what you want moving forward. Now, the Tower, coming in reverse, you're trying to avoid something from happening this week, So I think if you stay on top of it, you'll be okay, all right? Because the fact that you are aware of a situation, you might be able to, nip it in the bud. I feel like it could be around the house. Like if there is a problem with your house, like you have a leaky pipe and it's been getting worse and worse and worse, and it's just like, rather than avoid something getting really, really bad, I feel like you have to deal with it this weekend. So just do that, all right? And you'll feel much better. All right, Pisces, last but not least, we got you coming in with the Eight of Swords reversed, Four of Swords, and then the Ace of Wands reversed. So listen, there's a situation that you've been dealing with that you can no longer let it have so much real estate in your mind, all right? We got to deal with the situation, get some rest, leave it alone, all right? Because I feel as if you have made things worse than what they have to actually be, you know, or what they are. You know, so out of a painful situation, because the Four of Swords says something happened to you that really hurt you. All right. And you've been thinking about it, thinking about it, thinking about it. You got to let it go. All right. Because it's continuing to hurt you. All right. We don't want that. You know, we need to process it. We need to rest up. We need to let it go. You know, and trying to find some peace this week over a situation. So however you can clear your mind, you know, if you can do that through, you know, meditation or taking a walk or doing something. I mean, whatever you can do to get you out of your head would be really, really great this week. And then, you know, we have the Ace of Wands coming in at the end of the week, you know, and I like that, you know, because I think as the week goes on, you start to see that, you know, maybe there wasn't as much passion there. Maybe there wasn't as much. It's like time heals all wounds kind of things. And with the Ace of Wands coming in, I think you start to see things a little bit differently towards the week's end, which is good, you know, because, you know, that means you've gotten out of your head. All right, Pisces. So that's what I've got for all of us for this upcoming week. You know, just a quick rundown of the weekend weather for all of us. So now what I can do is turn my attention to all of you guys in the chat. It's nice to see everyone today. Welcome in, Kenny. Lauren, Christine, hi. Ephraim, welcome in. Twinkle Toes. Sam, how are you? Do I want to build a snowman? It's too warm to build a snowman. How are you guys? Nobody's got any questions. Really small room. But anyway, I do see there are a few of you guys out there. If anybody does have a question, now is the time to throw them in the chat. If you want me just to pull a general card and read it for you, I'm happy to do that. It's always fun to see what comes out. I find, you know, when, you know, I try to read for myself, it's really, really hard. Even though I know the cards and everything else, it's always easier when someone else pulls a card and it's all of a sudden, it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Anyway, Kenny, you want me to pull you a card? Lauren, Ephraim, all you people, Sam. Sam, were you the one that wanted to be a moderator? Well, all right. Well, if you guys don't want me to pull cards, then I'm going to pop off. And I will be back. Oh, wait, you know, before I go, I am going to do a reading quickly for one of my subscribers. Her name is Lorraine. I want to do a reading on her son, you know, because I did promise her that the next time I came live that I would pull a card. But we're going to check in on Lorraine's son and see how is he doing? What's he up to? There was a sighting of him. So let's see, Lorraine, what's going on? So yeah, Lorraine, I hope you tune in and you get this. You get all my attention because nobody else has any questions. So this reading is just for you and your son. Grateful, thankful for the messages for Lorraine's son. We're just looking for an update, a read. Just kind of see how is he doing at this time. Grateful, thankful for the messages from my subscriber, Lorraine. Grateful, thankful for the messages. How's he doing? All right. First card out is the King of Wands coming in reverse to the Six of Cups to the Three of Wands. You know, I feel as if, you know, he gets by doing what he has to do to get by, Lorraine, you know, because with the King of Wands coming in reverse, this is a charmer. You know, I think he's turned into quite the con artist with this energy coming in. I do think he thinks about, you know, home a lot. When we have the Six of Cups, this is a lot of memories and nostalgia. But, you know, where he's going right now, he's not real sure. You know, we've got the Three of Wands coming in reversed. So I think he's just going to keep going as he's going. It's funny, I had this feeling, I was watching something, because you said he was in Vegas, you know, where there's this whole, you know, underground tunnel community, and I just wonder whether or not he's part of that, you know. But you know, here we have the World card coming in. You know, the fact that he does come around and he does think a lot about home, you know, it could be coming to an end, you know, this cycle of what he's been going through. I think the hard part is he doesn't know how to come home because he doesn't see a future in front of him. You know, but how to come home and end this cycle, I think, is his bigger challenge. you know, but right now I don't see that happening. So anyway, yeah, like I said, Lorraine, I just see him being very much the charmer, the con artist, doing what he's got to do to survive. And he's doing okay. But I think he's wanting this cycle to come to an end, you know. So the fact that he thinks about that, Lorraine, is really, really great. Hi, Shahida. How are you? Catherine, welcome in. Kathleen, hello from Massachusetts. Nice to see you. Tiandre, welcome in. Good morning. How is everyone today? Grateful, thankful. So anyway, that's a reading for you, Lorraine. I hope that resonates. I hope that gives you a little bit of comfort. We will periodically check in. You're going to have to remind me. Hey, you guys, anybody out there want a reading? Because if not, I'm ready to pop off. A short and sweet moment, you know, here on the live. How is everyone? Do I have a reading for Aquarius? I just did a reading for Aquarius for the upcoming week. It had something to do with pregnancy. I don't know. A lot of Aquarians, I think, are sitting on the fence about pregnancy. If you don't want to have a baby, you know, just make sure that doesn't happen. But pregnancy could indicate a new beginning and other things. But Kathleen, if you want me to pull a card just for you, that would be better than, you know, just a general. Hi, Lauren. Tiandre. All right, let's start. Wow, I'm sorry about that, Kathleen. That's terrible. I'm so sorry. Let me burn you a little cedar. You know, cedar in the traditions that I've been taught, you know, brings us a little bit of comfort. That's just for you. All right. Okay. All right, let's see what's going on. All right, Tiandre, let's start with you. All right, grateful, thankful for the messages from my new friend, Tiandre. I hope we got this card coming out. Look, whatever it is you are doing, Tiandre, keep going, because this is the Seven of Pentacles. And when the Seven of Pentacles shows up, it says that, you know, you put something in, you planted some seeds, and, you know, it's starting to really produce. So whatever it is, keep that energy going. Keep going, because success can come from this, all right? So this is great. And it also says, you know, things are going good, that you can probably start to, you know, maybe even take a little bit from that tree of coins and start spending a little bit. So nice reading for you, Tiandre. All right, Lauren, your turn. Let's see what's coming up for you. All right, grateful, thankful for the messages for Lauren. What's going on for Lauren? Grateful, thankful for the messages for Lauren. All right, Lauren, here's your card. We have the Eight of Wands. So a lot of communication, things are in motion. When we have the energy of the Eight of Wands, Lauren, what I love about this is that you set something in motion and now things are happening. And as a result, you have a lot of communication, you have a lot of texts, meetings, things are just in motion. So I like that, because when movement's around, things are happening. Hold on just a second, I've got to let the dog out. The dogs are never happy. They want to be in, they want to be out. All right, who's next? Lauren. Kathleen. All right, Kathleen, let's get a card out for you. Bring some comfort to this new person in my chat room. Sending lots of love your way, Kathleen. Grateful, thankful for the messages from my new friend, Kathleen. What can you tell me to tell Kathleen at this time? Grateful, thankful for the messages for Kathleen at this time. All right, let's see what is going on. Oop. All right, this card really wanted to come out for you, Kathleen, is the Eight of Wands, but it is reversed. So I feel as if communication, everything has come to a halt. Everything is at a standstill, and it has. And, you know, today you may not feel like talking to people. You don't want to, you know, I mean, take the time you need to heal, all right? Because Eight of Wands says you don't have to talk to anybody right now, all right? And I feel like that is, you know, the card that you really need. It's just like, take the time you need. Bottom of the deck for you, Kathleen, I do have the Chariot. I know you don't know which way to go, you know, but in time you will feel a little bit better about and knowing what to do next. All right, so my apology, Kathleen, for my condolences. All right, let's see who's next. Patricia. All right, Patricia, you're with Pablo Sagittarius. Listen, I did an Aquarius read, and there was something about pregnancy. So, yeah, be careful of that, Patricia, unless you want to get pregnant. All right, let's find out. Reading for Patricia. She wants to know about Pablo. What can you tell me about Patricia and Pablo? Grateful, thankful for the messages. All right, we have the Six of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles. So I feel as if, you know, you are thinking about making a move, you know, that's going to bring a little bit more peace and quiet to the two of you. So I feel some troubled times right now. But, you know, we got the Queen of Pentacles coming out. So I think, you know, you're going to move to a place where you're going to feel much better about who you are and, you know, a lot more stability. But, you know, right now, and I think by fall, because the fall leaves are kind of falling around here, by fall, you might end up leaving Pablo for someone else. Yeah, because here at the bottom of the deck, you know, right now, I think it's one of these ideas that is formulating. But, you know, eventually, I think that it's not going to work out for the two of you. And what did you get this time, Tiandre? I forgot. Energies are always changing and moving. You know, we can't forget that. Can Christine work in a new company with Mr. Kamal for 2 years or more? Let's find out. All right, Lauren. Let's find out. Welcome in, you guys. Grateful, thankful for the messages. For Lauren, trying to find out if Christine can work with these people in a new company. Christine work with these people in a new company. Grateful, thankful for the messages for Lauren. All right, let's see what's going on, Lauren. Yes, the answer is yes. And I feel as if, you know, they will work with her as well. So it's a good offer. And I think it's the beginning of something that can lead to something even better. So I got a solid yes for that, Lauren. Good. Welcome in, Adrian. How are you? How does Berto feel about Kristen? And does Berto want Kristen to come back? Well, first let's find out how Berto feels about Kristen. Hi, Perna. Welcome in. I'll get you next. Adrian, how does Berto feel about Kristen? Grateful, thankful. Inquiring minds would like to know. How does Berto feel about Kristen? All right, listen, a little bit of patience. Things are tempting between you and them. Let's see. I think good things can come, you know. I think they will come back. I think you just got to be a little bit patient. You know, everything is happening. So I like this combination for you. So, yeah, Adrian, you know, I think, you know, does he want him to come back? The victory card says yes. Will they come back? You know, I think eventually, yes, they will. So that's nice. Bruno, who's coming towards you in your career? Will I switch job in this year or next year? When do I go live usually? You know, usually I try to do one for the beginning of the week. Like, usually I do it on a Monday. I try to, you know, put that in my mind. But tomorrow morning I have to go somewhere. So this is why I'm doing it today on Sunday. And then I try to come back on at the end of the week, either Thursday or Friday. I'm trying to figure out how to come on a lot more often. But the problem is like, you gotta, you know, you can't come on here and just not have anything to say. And sometimes I don't know what to say. So anyway, I'm starting to get the feeling that what I need to do is when I get the feeling of like, just do a Gemini read, then I'm just going to come on here live and do a Gemini read. And you know, just out of the blue, it could be like bonus reads. Anyway, I'm trying to work my way to doing this a lot more often. All right, Perna. What's coming towards you in your career? Let's find out what's coming towards you in your career. Grateful, thankful for the messages. And each and every one of you, don't forget to hit that like button. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Really makes a difference to my channel. It really does. My channel's been growing, slowly but surely, but it's growing. All right, Perna, let's find out what's coming towards you in your career. So look, I feel an offer, definitely a job offer is coming your way. This is really, really good. So work looks good for you. Are you going to move? You know, I don't see that happening. I don't see you having that option just yet. But I do see work being very, very good for you, Perna. So, you know, in this year or next year, definitely not this year, you know, but maybe next year. But right now, you know, take what you got, this new offer, because I feel like it's a good one. Yeah, me too, Kathleen. Don't forget to subscribe. Sandy, how are you? How's Sandy? Sandy, want me to pull a card for you? I'm at the end of my read. You're welcome, Perna. It's nice when the cards come out positive for you, right? Makes you feel good. All right, Sandy, would you like a card? Because you are the last one in line. You feel lost? I'm sorry about that. Let me pull a card for you. Grateful, thankful for the messages for Sandy, who feels a little lost. What can you tell me to tell her? Grateful, thankful for the messages for my friend Sandy. Oh, good. Yeah, stay positive, Perna. It's a nice card. Knight of Pentacles, good offer. He had his arm way out there. All right, one more shuffle for you, Sandy. Let's find out. What does the tarot want me to tell you about your situation? What can you tell me to tell her? Oh, this card wants to come out. Ace of Pentacles. Don't give up on opportunities that come through. And Five of Swords. You know, sometimes I feel as if with the Five of Swords, we have to, you know, we have to pick and choose our battles, right? We have to know what it is that we fight for. With this image, though, you know, sometimes things blow up, all right? And, you know, that doesn't, just because it didn't happen before, doesn't mean it's not going to happen. With the Ace of Pentacles coming in reversed, I feel as if, you know, there is an opportunity for you. There really is. You have to create it. And if you are involved in a situation right now that is not working for you, where there is a lot of fighting and there is a lot of confusion, then you need to cut it off. You know, it's like you have, at some point you have to, like I said, pick your battles and cut your losses. Because if you continue to put energy into something that doesn't produce, doesn't give back, this is where we start to feel resentment. This is where we start to feel bad. And I feel like, you know, the Seven of Pentacles coming in reverse for you, Sandy, says, you know, I just can't keep putting energy into this anymore. It just is not working for me. And then you watch, things will start to turn around for you. Anyway, that's what I've got for you, Sandy. So I hope that helps. All right, anyone else out there? I think everybody's kind of checked out. I'm going to go ahead and get going with my Sunday over here. So, yeah, I'll see you guys all later in this week. Like I said, I won't be back tomorrow, but I will be back later on. So, as always, please take what works, leave what doesn't, and I will see you all later. Until then, be well. All right, bye now.